Hi everybody, Beanmeister22 here. Hey, today we're going to look at a very cool set, and I mean it. Just look at this thing. It is so cool. This is an amazing Thomas & Friends Trackmaster set. Look at the size of this thing. This is the Mad Dash on Sodor set, and I've been looking at this for quite a while. And I finally decided to buy it. And by finally decided to buy it, I've had this thing, 3, 4, 5 months. I bought it last July. And like most of my Lego sets or brick sets or Trackmaster sets, it sat in a box for at least a month before I even took it out and decided to start messing around with it. It's not that I wasn't excited and wanted to use it, I just haven't had time. I've been really busy doing a bunch of things, but let's not worry too much about that. Let's talk about this very cool Thomas & Friends set. Okay, so it started like this. I saw this online. I said, wow, it's great. I looked it up. I found it on Amazon, and it was very reasonably priced, just over $100. Yes, $100 is a lot of money, but look at some of the other Trackmaster sets. I have dozens and dozens of Thomas & Friends Trackmaster sets that I've paid anywhere from, say, $20 to $150 for. So just $112 I think I paid for this. It was a very cool price. Especially since this is now the biggest Trackmaster set I have. This is bigger than any 3 or 4 $30 or $40 sets. If you think about it, look at the size of this. In addition to that, this is my very first RC Trackmaster set. Now I have remote control Thomas sets and things, they're just not Trackmaster sets. And I was really looking forward to saying, hey, how cool would that be if you could have remote control Trackmaster locomotives going around your track? And to answer that question, it's really not as cool as I thought it'd be. We'll get to that later, but let's talk about the set in general. This set is huge. I first tried to put it on the table and it wasn't going to work. I had to get a bigger table and it still just barely fits on the table. The set's huge. As I mentioned, by far the biggest Trackmaster set I've seen, and I've had a couple of big ones. Go back and look at some of the videos and you'll see, but this one is just humongous. The box says it's 3 feet wide by 5 feet long. Well, I didn't measure it, but I mean, just look at the thing. It's big. Yes, it's the new Trackmaster design. Some people like it, some people hate it. My opinion on this is kind of funny in the sense that it's kind of better than the old design in some aspects, but it's worse than the old design in other aspects. I don't like the way the new Trackmaster 2 stuff goes together and how it comes apart. It's just a pain. But unlike the older Trackmaster track, it doesn't have the tendency to ride up and create that little bump where the piece of track go together. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. The new design has some things that's better than the old design and some things that's worse. And so why did they bother redesigning it only halfway? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need like a Trackmaster 3 or 4 or 5 to get the track right. And like all of the newer Trackmaster sets, they come with 2 little adapter pieces. This one has 2 of those little adapter pieces, so you can use this with your old Trackmaster set. And I even went online and ordered some of those adapter pieces so I can hook this to my Tomy. We could put it all together, but we'll talk about that in another video. This set has a lot of playability. There's a lot going on. You have the hills, and you have the cargo car, and you have a little thing which pops the cargo out of the car. You can have it's a barrel or a drum, and you have a boulder. There's a lot of stuff going on in this set. You have Cranky the Crane, and you have it moving, and you got some switches so you can do this loop or that loop, and it is very cool. Also, really quick, let me mention, this set takes a lot of batteries. Not like a lot of batteries, but more than your average Trackmaster set. Thomas here needs 3 AAA batteries, and then you need 2 more AAA batteries for the handheld remote control. And on a positive note, at least it's the same kind of batteries. How many times have we bought remote control toys and it took one kind of battery in the toy and a whole different kind of battery in the handheld? At least this, with the 5 AAA batteries, you can just go buy a pack of AAA batteries. You won't have to buy the AAA batteries and AA's or AAA and a 9 volt, so that is a very good idea. Great job, Trackmaster, for thinking it through. As I mentioned, I paid $112 for this. I just went online to Amazon and I see it for a whole bunch of prices. So if you find this, make sure you shop around to get the best price. So if you live here in the US, go online to Amazon, maybe check Toys R Us, check Target, check several different retailers. And remember, you got to look at the price and add in the shipping. So looking on Amazon, I see it for $99.99 plus $8.99 shipping. That's $108.98. So under $110, pretty close to what I paid, $112 with free shipping. And there's several retailers selling this online. I see it here for $113.55 plus $8.99. That comes out to $122.54. That's not horrible. I see it for $125 straight up with free shipping. And also in the top several I see here, it is for $119.70. That doesn't look horrible, except it's $19.99 shipping. So that's $139.69. So you're looking at $140. $140 is definitely more than you should pay for this set. This set's worth that, no doubt. But $125 with free shipping, or $140 or $109, just shop around, get the best price. And as with all things on Amazon, I also see some clowns trying to sell it for $170 and $200. Don't pay that kind of money for it. Truly, if you compared this side by side with some of the other Trackmaster sets that I paid $50 or $60 for, $200 for this set would seem in line, the size of this compared to the size of that. But don't pay that kind of money for it when you can get it for just over $100. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this set. Whenever I do pros and cons, people say, you know what you're talking about, you're horrible, you suck. And they say that if they're a fan of the product, and I happen to say maybe not something bad, but something that says, hey, they could have did better, or maybe something on the negative side about the product, I get insulted. And then to contrast that, which is just as funny, if I say something, hey, this is great, they did a great design, I really like this, and I hear, hey, you're just doing a commercial for the product, you're horrible, you suck, what are you getting paid for this? First off, no, I'm not getting paid for this, and I wouldn't need to be paid. I'd just be happy to get the set for free. But I mentioned before, I don't take the free things. I want to be honest with it. When people say, hey, let me send you a free thing, and then you can tell about it on your YouTube channel. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to feel obligated to say something good about, what if the toy was just super horrible and somebody gave it to me for free? I can't say, well, this is the worst thing I've ever had, but I got it for free. I can't say that now, can I? There's some people who will say, okay, I will take your toy for free and I'll review it, but I got to be honest about it. They say that, but there's still a certain obligation or a feeling you would have to say, hey, this guy just gave me a $100 toy for free. I just can't, I got to find something positive about it. Now, granted, I do try to find something positive about everything I review, but I don't want to feel obligated to that. If something is horrible junk, and I've said it in plenty of videos, I have fail videos of all kind of toys that I'll say, hey, it's just horrible, do not buy it. But I really can't be honest and say that if I'm obligated to some dude who gave it to me for free. And that's the thing about reviewers here on YouTube. Yes, quite a few of them seem to be nothing more than commercials for a toy, where they do nothing short of sucking up to a toy manufacturer to get free stuff so they can get the views, and then they can get more free stuff and get the views and become big and famous. I don't need to be big and famous. I need to be honest. So I'm going to be honest about every toy I take a look at, and that's important. And not just toys, anything I review, really. So beware of people who get free stuff from a manufacturer. Also, really quick, I get a bunch of comments saying, what are you doing on an advertisement for Amazon? You're always saying about Amazon. Hey, if you look at my videos and you listen to them, I say plenty of bad things about Amazon. Most importantly, the bad things I say about Amazon are with the private retailers there who try to hustle and rip you off when they say, hey, I can sell it to you for the lowest price. And I've talked about this a bunch of times before. Here's something for sale. Everybody's selling it for $200, and this one guy says, I'll sell it to you for $100. So his name is on top of the list, and then you'll click on it. And then you'll see he's charging you $100 or even $150 for shipping and handling. Shipping and handling, really? Where the other guys were just charging $200 and giving you free shipping or very low-cost shipping. So people will cheat to get up to the top of the list. When you click find the best price or price it from lowest to highest, they'll get up to the top of the list, and most people won't keep looking down the list. And sellers like that are unethical, and really they're crooks. They are ripping you off. They are purposely trying to trick you to buy their product at a higher price than you would buy it normally. There's a lot of that on Amazon. You see it on eBay. You see it on a lot of these different multi-online retailer places. Was it Alibaba? All these kind of places. You have to always add in shipping and handling. Now, really, after listening to what I just said, could you even say this is a commercial for Amazon? Oh, Amazon's great, but people will rip you off if you're not paying attention. I love Amazon. I buy all kind of stuff there. If I said it once, I've said it 100 times. I can sit at home in my underwear and order stuff on Amazon. You know, you go into a Kroger store, Toys R Us in your underwear, you know, someone's calling the cops on you. But I digress. All right, the Pros. Huge set, humongous set. It's remote control. The batteries, same kind of battery in your handheld as well as in your locomotive. Even though it's an RC set, you can use your non-remote control, your non-RC Trackmaster locomotives on it. You got a lot of stuff going on. You can set this up even a different way than we have it set up here. You got really cool steep hills. You have other stuff going around. There's a lot of buildings. It looks good. You have these extra loops. You got cranky. You've got the loading dock things. You got the spiral. It's a very cool set. And as with all Trackmaster sets, you can also hook your other Trackmaster to it and have one big giant thing. And I need to do that one of these days. I just don't know if I have enough room. So that's some of the pros of this set. There's a lot of very good things about this set that I haven't even mentioned yet. And you have to discover it for yourself. This set is so big. There's so much going on. There's so many other loops and things you can do. This is the one set. If you bought just this one Trackmaster set, you don't need to get any other. And I'm not saying to buy this, don't ever buy any others, but this thing is so big, you can do so many different things with this set. And if you got some expansion packs, that just takes this to a whole nother level. So whereas I have 2 dozen or 3 dozen other Thomas and Friends Trackmaster sets, which are really, a lot of them are just a short loop with a spur and then a little building or a little item. And some have some neat features and sound or something, but this just has a lot of stuff going on. And you get this, you will be happy. This will keep you busy for quite a while. And as you know, if I'm going to tell you the pros, I got to tell you the cons, or is it vice versa? Let me tell you what I don't like about this set. And there is quite a bit I don't like about this set. Yeah, there's a lot I love about it, and there's a lot I hate about it. As with all of the Thomas and Friends Trackmaster sets, well, most of them, anything that's not just a simple loop, even that too, but these bigger sets, the instructions are horrible. The markings on the track, which tells you where to put each track and what the number is on it and how it goes, the layout, it's horrible, it's hard to read, it's a pain. And on the box they says, you'll need an adult to help you build this, to set this up. And I'm thinking, I am an adult. Who am I going to get to help me? A kid or some other adult? Oh, I hate that. So the instructions are poor. They're not very self-explanatory. It's hard to tell what is what. You really got to mess around. And that's with most of the Trackmaster sets. Like I said, even the little loops, unless it's a very simple loop, even that you can, what is this? Does this go here or there? So there is that, and that's a big problem, and that was kind of a pain to set up a set this big. This next problem is something that you see even listed on the Trackmaster boxes. They already know it's a problem. Not all Trackmaster locomotives will work with this set. Really? You sell Trackmaster locomotives, you design them, you make them in your same factory, yet you're selling sets that some of them won't even work with? Yeah, that happens too. On this set in particular, the problems that you'll have is on that curve, that little curve before you go up that steep hill, with the railing there, locos will get stuck there. Toby has a tendency to get stuck there because of size, right? And then some of the other bigger locomotives will have trouble getting around that curve. There's that. Something that is similar on all of the sets that have the big suspension things and bridges and things up high, the heavier locos will flex and jar the track around too much and have a tendency to want to fall off or crash. This set is no different. The spiral track, after you come down, after you've dropped the cargo up there on the top, that spiral track, oh, it was horrible. It was flexing. I had to put little clips where it didn't even say to put clips to try to hold it together. And as Trackmaster sets go, I've had sets with way bigger spirals than this. Remember that abandoned mine set? But this spiral, it's a short one, but the bottom of it, oh, it was horrible. In addition to the flexing issues with the track, when you get down to the bottom, one of the uprights that hold the track, the locals kept cramming into it, bumping into it. Even Thomas, the one that came with this set, had trouble maneuvering around it. So with all of the new design and effort they put into this new style of Trackmaster track, they still have not fixed the problems with the track flexing and the uprights wiggling and moving and bumping. It's just, that's horrible. Oh, and something else. This is a very steep hill. Some of your locomotives may not want to climb this very steep hill. You can see in this video. Now, there's something that's particular to this set. When you get to the very top, you have up in that little building, you got a little trigger which triggers that cargo car. It kind of bumps it. It causes it to tip its load and go down the chutes, and then down so Cranky can get it. And then Cranky can swing around and you can drop the load back in the cargo car that Thomas is towing. That little thing, it pops underneath the track. It was a pain. You had to keep lining it up and it would pop out and sometimes it just wouldn't work. And as you can see from this video, there's a lot of fails going on, but that's Trackmaster. There's going to be wrecks and crashes and things not working right, but getting the cargo to pop out properly every time is going to be impossible. If you can get the cargo to pop out half of the time or most of the time, you're ahead of the game and you'll be doing okay. So that's kind of a pain, but that's kind of specific to this set. Now this brings us to the biggest fail of this set. Not the biggest fail ever. I've had a lot of fails, even with Trackmaster sets, but here's the big fail. We talked about this set being huge. We talked about this set having a lot going on. I mean, look at a lot of stuff going on. Cranky is kind of automatic because there's a little ratchet thing in there and the spring loaded and you spin it, bam, the load goes in there, goes over here. All right? But the only way to reset Cranky is to reach in there by hand and crank it back. It couldn't be automatic. It can't just keep going. You couldn't put a battery in it and have it battery operated. And that's the fail. It's not the fail that you got to use your hand to move Cranky one direction, but it's automatic the other direction. It's a remote control fail. As I mentioned earlier, I was so looking forward to my very first remote control Trackmaster set that now that I have it, it's not that good. Because when you have remote control, you want to go faster or slower or start and stop or go backwards and then remote control everything. But the only thing that's remote control on this set is your locomotive. And the fact that the locomotive is remote control, that really highlights the other basic manual stuff you have to do with this set. You got to switch things by hand and everything. What's the point of having a remote control button to start and stop it? If I still have to reach in there to move Cranky back and flick the track switcher things, then I turn on Thomas, I set the remote control down, and then I have to just play like I normally did. point of having the remote control? I guess if this set didn't have those switches, if it was set up so it was one big giant circuit that you could go on everything with one big loop, well, remote control might be even a better idea. With this, with so many things you have to do by hand, why bother with a remote? I mean, that was the first big thing that I noticed. And then there was something else which I noticed which was even worse. Yeah, how could something be worse than that? Which, the first one basically made the remote control obsolete, really. On the box, it says you can go forward and reverse. Wow, Thomas can go in reverse? Very cool. I thought that's the greatest thing ever. You can stop, you can start. Here's the problem. It's one speed. It's not variable speed. Why would you have a remote control that you just push the button and go, and then you can stop it, but you can't go faster or slower? Oh, a big fail. And if you've never used one of these remote control Trackmaster locomotives, you might be thinking, oh, who cares? You don't need that. Yeah, you really do. The fact that you can make it go forward or backwards and start and stop, but you can't make it go forward slow or creep it or go backwards, oh, you will find out very quickly that you really need to be able to adjust the speed. Especially when, say, you're lining up to go to that cargo dock there to get that load that Cranky has just brought over to put in your cargo car. It's really hard to hit it with this one-speed-fits-all thing going on. So the biggest fail of this set is that it's remote control, but it's only a remote control locomotive, and the whole set is really not remote control friendly. And the remote control itself for the locomotive is very simple. Just, go and stop, really. And the reverse is kind of neat, but it's still just go and reverse and stop or go forward and stop. Big fail. The effort they put into making this set remote control, would it have been that hard to be able to give it maybe a slow speed and a high speed if they didn't want to go through variable speed, low gear and a high gear? The low gear would be a lot better for climbing this hill. Okay, so let's recap this. The fails are, the track flexes way too much, there's some uprights here that don't line up properly and they wiggle and they're not very structurally sound. The RC is just horrible. It's not as cool as I thought it would be. Some locomotives won't go well on this track. Yeah, you always see that, right? But really, it's the RC that really just, what I don't like. And the pros, that was the cons, and as we said, the pros, it's a huge set. There's a lot going on. Forget about the RC part being a pain. Just use this set, and this is the only Thomas set you will ever need to get. And for around $100, that's a pretty good deal. Because if you take the last 3 Thomas Trackmaster sets I've bought and added up the cost of those last 3, it is well over $120, $130. And if you took them and hooked them all together, they would still be smaller than this set that I got for $112, or you could get for $110 or $109-ish. So it's a great set. If you like Trackmaster, you like Thomas, you will like this set. But please, 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 please don't get overexcited about the remote control feature because it really isn't that cool. And those of you who haven't had one yet will still say, it's great, I love it. And in fact, if you do have it and you say you love it, it might be because you don't have it on this set. You have one of the other sets or just a big giant track or a loop or something. But on this set, the remote control thing isn't working well. It doesn't mean you shouldn't get this set, because I think the set is amazing. It's just the RC stuff isn't as cool as I thought it would be, and it has a lot of limitations and therefore a lot of flaws. And like I said, if you still don't believe me, wait till you get this set and you say, yeah, I think you're right. The RC thing was pretty cool for like the first 5 minutes, and then I saw it was horrible, and I just used my regular locomotives on it. Or I use the Thomas that came with this, and I just turn it on, set the remote down. I never touch the remote again until I'm done. And then when you go to stop them, you're not reaching up there to flick a switch. You got to find the remote. Oh, yeah. All right, so what do you think? This was a very cool set. I like it, and we will do more videos with this. We'll hook some more stuff to it. We'll make it even bigger. And I might even buy another couple or 1 or 2 of the remote control Trackmaster locomotives, and we can try them out and compare them. Maybe they'll be better than the RC locomotive that came with this set. I don't know. I'm just not happy with this. So, great set. I recommend buying it. This will be not only your favorite set, this will be the only one you'll play with. Yeah, you might hook some other ones to this, but this is the ultimate. Which is funny because in the past, Trackmaster has made several smaller sets, and they want you to just keep buying one set after another. Toby and the Whispering Woods, or Whistling Woods, and you have this, and you have that. And then you have the mail set, and this set, and the Sodor this, and the Shake Shake Bridge, and you have all these sets. They want you to just keep buying them, buying them, buying them. But if you buy this set, you won't have to buy any more. There's just a lot going on here. This is amazing. So for the RC, we're going to say thumbs down, but for the size and the playability of this track, we're going to say thumbs up. Great set. I recommend getting it, but remember, there's some shortcomings of the set. Don't go into this blind. And for sure, do not pay too much for this set, because there's people trying to sell this set for a lot of money. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe someone wanted $179 for this set. That was before I saw it for $112. And I saw that $179, and looking at some of the other prices I paid for way smaller Trackmaster sets, I said, well, $179 is a lot of money, but that's probably right for this set. Shop around. So if I didn't shop around, I would have been paying $179 or $180 for this set that you can get for just over $100. So shop around, pay attention. Great set. Don't get too excited about the RC, but really amazing set. So leave your comments in the comment section. Have you seen this set? Do you want this set? You already have this set. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. And if you don't have this set, it's going to be kind of hard for you to tell me where I'm wrong and where I'm right. But really, it's a cool looking set. You'll like it. Leave the comments in the comment section. And hey, as always, thanks for watching. Very cool set.
Meister 22, the most dangerous man on YouTube.